just gonna cut straight to the point. You clicked on this video because you want to know what the heck I'm talking about. How can you become better in calisthenics in only 5 minutes? And the truth is, 5 minutes won't go very far in your training. But if you spend 5 minutes doing these things, which I'm gonna show you, you will be that much stronger. You will be that much more explosive, that much more mobile, and you will overall be better at calisthenics or whatever sport or fitness that you're into. Now, this is not a clickbait thing. This is real live stuff. And I'm not telling you this as a trainer. I am a trainer and I am telling you this, but I'm telling you this as someone who's experienced it firsthand. Now, what am I talking about? I don't want to use the term warming up because you're like, oh, a video on warming up. It's not warming up. Don't turn it off. It's not warming up. It's about opening up space in your body. And what do I mean by that? Well, our bodies have fascia. Fascia is the connective tissue over our entire body. And to have our fascia become more mobile, allowing us more freedom of movement, you need to warm up because warmth in the body will create more lubrication, your blood flow and circulation, and you'll be able to move better. But it's not about warming up. Warming up just gets the blood going. What you do next is most important, and that's about creating space. And you can do that. And I'll give you a short example. If I reach my hands overhead, right now my lats are pretty tight. So as I reach up, you'll see my rib cage lifts up. People that are more mobile than me would have looser lats. They'd be able to reach up like this while their rib cage stays down without having to do what I'm doing right now. Now this is because I'm not warm and I'm not loose and I'm not ready. But yet I might still go hit the park and do calisthenics. I might still go to the gym and work out, but yet my body's tight right now. See, that's dumb because that's actually gonna promote further tightness. And although you can build some strength, you're limiting how strong you can get. If I open up these lats and increase this mobility before I go and I train, honestly, you're gonna have to see for yourself. You're gonna have to take my word and trust me and try it yourself. But follow these few things, and in 5 minutes, you can be that much stronger. Let's dive in, follow along. All right, first of all, with most calisthenics, pretty much all calisthenics, we're doing upper body movements. Whether we're pulling, whether we're pushing, we're starting with grabbing onto the bar or starting with our hands on the floor. So the first point of contact is the most important part. And that's gonna be, again, our hand on the floor, our hand on the bar. And that's gonna require grip strength. But not just strength, you're also gonna need mobility in your wrists. So if you wanna be stronger in your grip on the bar when doing muscle ups, when holding the ground and doing handstands, when doing a number of calisthenics exercises, it's important to open up your wrists. So we start with fingers backwards. We lean back and we keep them locked. We don't let our heels lift up off the ground. We just start and we sit in this, not for 10 seconds, but for 30 seconds or so. And once we've done that, we bring the wrists forward, bring our knees back into table position, and we start to lean our weight over our wrists. Because a lot of the times in a handstand, you're gonna have to fight here. If you're in a planche, you're gonna be really far over the wrist. So having mobility just to here is not enough. We really need to start to extend that. So we're gonna lean over the wrist. And when we lean over the wrist, we're not gonna sink in our shoulder blades. We're gonna push through our shoulder blades because we need to warm up our scapula too, but we're starting with the wrist. So push through the shoulder blades, and our elbows, instead of them being out wide, we're gonna wrap them in. And then we're gonna sink forward again and push away from our shoulder blades again. We're gonna take our elbows out wide and we're gonna wrap them in as we sink. And we're gonna keep doing this. And what we're doing by rotating the arm and sinking is actually opening up space in the wrist. Next, we're gonna go back of the wrist. One at a time, hand goes down, other hand goes over the wrist. And from here, again, we're gonna pull across the hand until we feel tension. Not all the way across, just until we feel tension on the forearm. And from here, we're gonna rotate again. And while we're rotating, you can push down with this hand, but pull up with this hand. So what you're doing is decompressing the joint of the wrist. Instead of compressing everything, a lot of stretching people do is compressing. We're gonna decompress as we do these twists. Again, opening up space, switch and we do the other hand. So once the wrists are open, we're gonna move into opening the next part of the body. Next, we're gonna open up the chest. Now your chest is more than just doing push-ups. Your chest allows your arms to come behind your body. So a tight chest, you won't be able to bring your arms backwards as much. In a muscle up, pull up, but think about here is getting your elbows back. That's chest mobility. So you wanna start to open up your chest. A lot of calisthenics people, and you'll see their bodies because we're always on the bar and always doing pulling exercises and hollow body exercises. A lot of calisthenics guys have these huge wrapped shoulders, wrapped in like this, and their chest is caved in, and that's tight. They need to open that up. So we're gonna start with opening up the chest, 30 seconds in each position, arm goes out wide, and we're just gonna push across from here. Now, you're gonna notice a couple things. If my arm's down here, I can roll further, but that's not stretching my chest. You know where that chest tendon is. And I'll show you here again. If I'm down here, this isn't my chest. I need to be here, and I wanna feel it across here, across my front delt and into my chest. So don't make stretches easy. Find where it stretches the most here, so it's either perfectly out or a little bit up high, so you start to feel that chest. And you're gonna do 30 seconds on each arm. Once you've done it out wide, you can also bend the arm and do the same thing. Again, opening up the chest, stretching it out. So what's most important to realize is that everything in the body is connected. So we started with the wrists and the forearms. Now we're moving to the chest. So stretching that's actually stretching your bicep, stretching your delt, and stretching your chest. Everything's connected. And then where are we gonna move into? Next, we're gonna move into stretching out the lats, more of the chest, and the core. And I'll show you how we're gonna do that. Now, before we dive into this one, I just wanna reiterate to everybody again, this is not about stretching and being more flexible. This is about opening up space in the body so you can be stronger in your workouts. And if you're gonna trust me with anything, just try this routine and then go do your workout and tell me you don't feel stronger and more fit. So next, we're gonna do a back bridge. Now, this is obviously a yoga movement, but it's really good for a lot of reasons. So I sit down on my back, I put my hands behind me like this, I press up to my shoulders, I push to my head, I reposition my hands if I need, get flat on my feet, and then I'm gonna push up into a bridge. Now, I do not have the best bridge, but what I'm stretching here is, in that arch position, I'm opening up my core. So I'm really stretching out the front line of my body. I'm also, again, stretching out this chest muscle. My arms are all the way above my head, but I'm also opening up that lat, that tight lat that everybody has from calisthenics. Now, some people like to stretch a lat by pressing down on a wall like this, and that's a great stretch, but think about how much more arc and how much more I'm stretching when I'm in that wheel pose. And you'll notice I can't even fully lock my arms because of the tightness of my lats. So we're gonna work that, and you're gonna hold that for, if you can, for 30 seconds straight. If not, do a couple reps of 10 or 15 seconds each. Then we'll move into the next one. All right, next is hips. If you have tight hips, and you can see when my legs bent in like this would be me stretching my hips, hip flexor kind of going around the back here. If you have tight hips, it's gonna affect your ability to really engage that back line, to engage your glute, and to be able to hold handstands, straddles, be able to move easily on a bar, and be able to do a lot of athletic things. Now, I suffer from tight hips. So my go-to is called pigeon. You pull your knee into your chest, you try to put your foot as close to your opposite hand as possible, and then you sink down. Now, if you have knee problems, be careful. Meniscus injuries, this can really wrench the meniscus. So if that's the case, you'd want to bring your foot a little bit closer like this, and then you just sit down on it and start to stretch your hip like that. 30 seconds aside. Now, hips are pretty tight, so you might not get a lot out of that stretch. If that's the case, you can always use a foam roller, which I happen to think is the best way to create space in your body and your hips. I'll put this on the left side, and I'll put my left heel on my right knee, which will open up the hip, and I'll start to roll out. Basically, it's your butt cheek, but you'll feel where the hip flexor is. And you do that, and then go into the pigeon pose, and your hips will be that much more mobile. Now, after we've done the hips, we should also work on the QL, your quadratus lumborum. What is your QL? Your QL is basically a lower back muscle that connects down in through the hips. But this is what can cause people a lot of pain, because if that's tight, it pulls your spine and it just keeps you compressed, and it stops you from being able to sway side to side. So if you sit in straddle position and you get tall, and if you can't sit like this because your hips are too tight, if you feel like you're back here, Just put a yoga block under your ass. And if you sit from here and you stay tall, don't touch your toe, but try to reach like this, you should start to feel tension all along here, but specifically in your lower back. That's gonna be your QL. So how are we gonna open that up? Now you may never have stretched this before, but if you start to, whew, boy, that's gonna make a difference. I'm telling you, this stretch I really only discovered this past year, and it's really changed things. Honestly, it's changed things. So I'm gonna start with one leg in, one leg out. Now I have a weight vest here. You can use a dumbbell or a weight, or really anything with a little bit of weight. You don't even need to have one. And I'll show you how to do it without one. So leg is in, press down on that knee with this hand, reach and grab your other toes, and from here, lock this arm. Don't sink forward as much as pushing yourself back and over. Now you might start to feel it. You might want to let go of that toe and just push and lean. I don't quite get the stretch that way as much as if I put a weight on this leg here. Now this pins my knee to the floor, which starts to lift up this other side. So what I want to do is lean this way. This is going to hold this hip down to the ground right away now while leaning. Oh my God, I feel how tight that is. I'm now going to stretch, arms overhead, and I'm gonna lean. Now, to understand, your side body is all connected. So your lat, which is tight, is actually still all connected through all of this as well. So if you can open up that QL and create space down here, it's gonna help you create space up here as well. All right, last but not least is hamstrings. Now, if you're doing straddle handstands, if you're doing straddle planche, if you're doing really any sort of kicks or flips, you need to have loose hamstrings. If your hamstrings are too tight, you wouldn't be able to even sit on the floor like this because you'd be over here. Now, we as human beings, sitting is unnatural. We should always be on the floor. So you should be able to sit on the floor comfortably and do things like this and get up and stand up if you need to. Stretching our hips. We're here. Push your weight so you're as off of your tailbone as possible. Get as far forward as you can. Feet engaged, or you can point your toes. Don't let your knees rotate in. Try to force them out. And then I want you to lean forward, but don't try to get as far forward as you can, because right now I'm just hunching my back, and although I feel it under my knees, what's really important for you to understand is your hamstrings are not just from your ass down to your knees. Your hamstrings connect to your calves. They connect to your glutes, and they connect to your lower back. So hunching and just stretching your hamstrings isn't gonna get you more flexible. It's not gonna open that space. You need to open up. You feel the stretch way more in your hamstrings, but it's also stretching your entire back line. And from here, hands behind your head, just breathe. And slowly you'll feel yourself sinking deeper into that stretch, not hunching deeper, but you'll feel your chest getting closer and closer to the floor. And when you've done that, you can go off to one side, you can go off to the other side. All right, so that just about sums it up. Now, I don't know if this was what you were looking for, but truth is, if you spend 5 minutes before every workout going over everything that we talked about, starting with your point of contact and working your way across the body to open up space, not just in one muscle group or in one area of tendons or where you need flexibility, but across your entire frame, you will notice such a big difference in your overall calisthenics. Yes, you'll notice a big difference in your strength. But for me, the biggest thing and the reason why I do this before every workout is because it reduces your recovery time. I'm not as sore the next day, and I can start to train harder, and I can train more muscle groups in a week because I'm not as sore. Again, I don't want to call it warming up. If you think about opening up this space in your body as a warm-up, you'd be less motivated. But if you think about it as a tool to being an athlete, then you have the right picture. So put these things into practice. Take my word for it. Try it before your next workout and tell me, and I'd like to see, put it in the comments, tell me that you don't see overall performance. You honestly should see it right away. Those 5 minutes should make a big difference right away. But over the course of weeks, months, etc., it is gonna make the biggest difference in your career, your life as an athlete. Good luck. Hope you got a lot out of this. See you guys on the next one.